the name's Anthony James. I'm a junk model maker. That means I make models out of junk, and have done for about 20 years as a company called Creaturama. I work for film, television and theatre as a prop maker, and I work in lots and lots of schools and have done across the UK and beyond. I'm just going to do a little bit now about general model making techniques. So if you've already seen this on another one of my YouTube posts, then just fast forward to the bit where my shirt changes colour. That'll be the actual make. For those that haven't seen any of my posts before, I'm just going to do a little general piece about making models. The first thing you're going to need, if you're making them out of junk, is some scissors. These are my sort of medium-sized scissors, good for adults, but if you're working with children, what you want are these smaller scissors with the blue handles on. They're obviously different colours. If they're yellow and green in the UK, they're for left-handed people. If they're just one colour like this, they're for right-handed. Get that right straight off, because obviously if you're trying to cut with the wrong pair of scissors for you, you won't be able to make anything. Children particularly will think it's their talent that's at fault, so we don't want that to happen. They're sharp. Be careful. Small scissors like this are blunt-ended, which is great, so they're not quite as easy to stab yourself with. Also, they're very good for cutting round corners, so for making smaller models, these are the scissors you want, particularly if you're working with children. And then, everything I build, and you can see some of my things behind me, is made with masking tape. Masking tape is fantastic stuff. You don't have to wait for it to dry, it's dry straight away, and you can paint over it. But there are ways to use it and certain ways not to use it. This is one of the ways not to use masking tape, particularly with children. Don't try and break it with your teeth. The first thing, obviously, you'll get it stuck to your lip and it hurts when you pull it off. That can make a child's lip very sore. It's also not very hygienic, so don't do it that way. The way I do it, and it's a very simple way, yes, you can use scissors, but I tend to find that slows you down. Just get the tape off, and you can see in my hand there, the sticky side's away from it. Put your thumb on the corner and pull. Tape will come straight off. It makes you very quick at making things. I'm going to put that bit of tape there later on, because that's how to do it. Put lots of little bits of tape around so they're ready to use. I'm going to do it again. Put a bit of tape off, put your thumb there, right in the corner. Don't worry if you bite your nails or you don't think you've got very long nails, just press your thumb on really hard. It will still work and tear. And that's your tape. That's really all you'll need. Obviously some paints at the end of the make will be very good. There's all kind of different paints out there. Try and use a water-based paint if you're working with children, because that's easier to wash out of where they're going to get the paint all over. Obviously the way I'm going to show you to make models, you should have a surface that's quite easy to paint. There are lots of different makes of paint out there. I find acrylic some of the best paint to use. So that's really just the general model make. Now on to the actual building of, well, what you're going to make next. Off we go. For this make, we're going to need a cereal box. So what we need to do is get a cereal box like this and get rid of all these colours and all this writing. So the first thing to do is just cut down one corner of the box all the way so that we can open the box out. So we're just going to open the box like that, turn it round and actually turn it into a box that we can either draw on or paint later on. So use the masking tape, half on and half off. Just take it along like that. I'm going to straighten this. I'm going to try and make it as neat as I can and just stick the box back together. Now the trick with this is to see where the corners are, and if the corners match up, the box will. So just take the tape over. You can use your hand on the inside of the box to press against like that and stick it back together. Now we do what used to be the bottom of the box like that. You can actually push the boxes back together. Some of them have got little tabs where you could open them originally, and they're good for just sticking them back together again. And then same again, I'm going to use quite a big bit of tape for this, and I'm going to stick that bit together as well. Now the reason I'm using a big bit of tape is obviously this was where this box was opened and a bit of it's torn, so a big bit of tape should hide that bit of damage. So I'll just pull that off the table and stick that over like that. So we've turned our box round. Now turning a box round like that is brilliant for all kinds of making, because obviously now you can paint it, you can draw on it, you can make buildings, you can make all sorts of things. The next stage of this make, we get some toilet rolls. Now what you need to do with these toilet rolls is just squish them a little bit and cut down the middle. And for this I'm going to need, well, let's see, I'm going to need at least that one, like that, And I look and see the size of my box, because these are going on the side like this, and I'm going to need another 2 toilet rolls for the other side as well. Now, what I need to do is get a bit of masking tape, put it, let's move that out of the way so you can see this. I'm just going to put tape half on and half off, all the way around there like that. Use the scissors and go snip, 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 and create a sticky flower. Now, this is a brilliant way of sticking things together. I use it all the time. If you've seen any more of these sort of makes on YouTube, you'll know that I'm using this all the time. And just stick that in the middle, on the side of the box like that there, and press all those petals down. And we're going to do that, well, at least 7 times. And by the magic of Creaturama, here's all of them now attached. So that's what you're after. You're after the toilet roll stuck either side. If you've got very long tubes, you can make holes through the box and have them turn if you wish. But that's quite difficult, and it also means that you've got to find the long enough rolls. These are toilet rolls. Toilet rolls are quite easy to obtain, so I do it with those and just cut them as you've seen in half and put them all the way around the box. The next thing are the caterpillar treads. Now for that, you'll need some of this thicker brown cardboard. I've got a strip here which I've already sort of cut out roughly. You will find that some cardboard will do this and some cardboard will not do it. That is up to you. You're going to have to try bits of cardboard and see which bits will do it. This bit of cardboard, well, I haven't even pre-done this, so you'll see now. I'm just going to find out. I'm assuming it will. I'm just going to pull the paper off there. It can be an absolute devil to start, but once you've started, you should be able to, you'll get that noise. That's how you know it's working. You'll get that cracking noise like that, and you just pull out what you need. And basically, you're showing the corrugation in the cardboard. I'm going to go that all the way along there. Like that. Now, I haven't cut this straight or anything like that, so once I've managed to do it all, don't rush. If you start rushing, it won't work. And there's a lovely bit. Now you'll see, I use this a lot for lots of things. The robot I've got stood behind me here, he's got lots of this on him. I use it for fences as well, for little villages and compounds, if you're doing Anglo-Saxons or something like this. But today, it's your caterpillar tread. That's going to go around, as you can see there, those toilet rolls. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to look at it, I'm going to measure, and I'm going to cut that nice and straight now, all the way down. Anything that you don't use, you can save and use as decoration later on. So don't get rid of this little strip that I'm cutting off. Keep that somewhere safe, because you're bound to need that later. And now what you're going to do is you're going to stick that round there, just like that, with the best bit showing on the top. So you're going to end up pulling that together and sticking it together like that. Right, we've now got our base to our space tank. What we need to do now is we need to make a hole here. The best way of doing this is just open the scissors very carefully and just push gently. That's all you've got to do, is just push very gently. Don't stab, don't push really hard, just push gently and just cut out that size hole. Now you can draw around that if you want to. I've done this a lot, so I roughly know the size I need to cut. So I'm just going to cut a little hole out the middle. Just like that, and that should hopefully, oh, just a bit bigger, look, there you are, cut round there, a bit bigger, my tank treads have fallen off, there we are, and that should fit in there, and that's what you need. Now the next thing to do is to attach this toilet roll to a box or a yogurt pot that's going to make the big part of your toilet. So, there's my toilet roll, tape on and half off, snip your masking tape, just like you put on the wheels on the tank, open those out, and you're going to stick those to the middle of whatever is going to be the bottom of the turret. Now, I've got another box here, which is quite a nice shape, so I'm going to undo that. The same thing again, if you need to turn a box inside out, turn your box round by cutting down one corner all the way to the bottom. I'm going to turn that round like that, get a bit of masking tape, Stick that together, half on and half off. Make sure the corners match up, because again that's the real trick of making sure that when you turn these boxes around they stay straight. And then a bit of masking tape, join that bit together and put the box back together again. This one happens to have flaps that will help keep it nice and straight. Because of that, I actually don't need quite so much tape there. I'm going to put a bit across there and a bit across there. And I'm going to do the same again over here. Put those flaps in, fold the top back in. That's a lovely box actually, because it is making itself go back into a straight box shape. Now there's our turret. Now what I'm going to do with the turret is I'm going to stick this margarine tub to what is essentially the larger part of the turret. I'm going to stick it at the front of it. So a bit of tape there, look on my sides. A bit of tape there. And I'm not going to stick it to the middle, I'm going to stick it so that it's towards the front like that, because that leaves a little bit at the back just to balance the gun. Now the gun, again, kitchen roll, bit of tape. It's obviously a very big gun here, why not? It's a space tank, you do it one. I'm going to put some tape around there. I'm going to go snip, 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 snip. I'm going to bend those out like that. And I'm going to stick that to the top bit of that turret, like that. Now there's a trick here. If you put your kitchen roll right on the edge of the top, like that, press your petals down, that gives you just an area that you can put a nice long bit of tape. I've done a thin bit there, okay? Nice long bit of tape. And put that along the top of the kitchen roll and the top of the bottle like that, and then brace that, and that will stop the gun from sagging down. And there is your turret. Now, what we do, we put that into the tank like that, and there's your turret, which will hopefully turn and fire at anybody you don't particularly like. Now, can you see that? My toilet roll is too long. So that's the trick now, is just all the toilet roll should do is locate the turret into the base. Shouldn't really push it out. It should sit flat, this bit here. So I'm going to keep snipping that until it's about the right size, like that. Tiny bit more, tiny bit more. You can do it a little bit, don't do one big bit and then be really sorry that you've cut it too short. That's about right, look, there you go, and it doesn't sort of bend out now. To help with the weight at the back, I'm going to use some yogurt pots, because we've got some here, and I'm just going to stick some yogurt pots to make sort of an interesting window configuration at the side. A bit like an old Mark V World War I tank, this, but I'm just going to put those there, look, just to... It adds a bit of weight to the back of the turret, and it looks good. So, a bit of tape on there. I'm going to fold all that tape over. Just an interesting sort of bug eye look to it as well, which I quite like. And there's some more tape there, another one. These yogurt pots have got the name of the company that's made them on them, so try and put that so it's facing down, if you can. I didn't on that one. I'm going to put that yogurt pot there. I'm going to put that yogurt pot there. And that just makes it look, I think, a little bit more alien as well, so it's an alien battle tank. Now, some engines for the back. I've got another box here for, we're going to put an engine on the back. A lot of tanks have got their engines at the back of the tank like this, so I'm going to pull that out, hopefully. There we go. Turn the box around. These aren't pre-cut ready, these boxes. I am doing this as we go. This is sort of a live make, so anything can happen, and it does. So there we are. I'm going to put a bit of tape there, like that. Again, make sure those corners are in the same place, like that. Fold your box over, the flaps. There we are. Hope you can see this. I'm just sticking that back together. This is basically what I've done already twice in this make, is make a box nice and straight, and I'm going to do that as well. Again there, and there's just a little box, and what we're going to do, we're going to stick that on the back, and again this just weighs the back of the tank down, gives it a bit of weight, gives it a bit of, it makes it a bit more menacing as well. So I'm just going to stick it on the back there. I know you can't see from the front there, so I'm going to turn it around just to show you. I'm going to put the tape on first, like that. Look, bit of tape just in there, like that. Press that down, fold it back, stick your bit on there like that. Now, there's a lot of tape sticking up because I've done this very quickly. I'm going to press that all down nicely, and then I'm going to look for interesting things. I've got a top to a bottle here. That looks interesting, so I'm going to stick that on. It's a tank. It's a vehicle of some description. It's technology, so I'm going to stick things on it to make it look interesting. There's one thing I'm going to stick on to make it look interesting. This top of what would have been, I would imagine, a water bottle or something like that. Bend those petals back like that, just like we stuck those original things on. I'm going to put that on the back of that turret as well. The more things you put on the back of the turret, the more it's weighed down at the back and looks better. Like that, there you go, so that's there. Oh, favourite thing for a tank, I've got a straw, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to make an aerial out of this straw. I'm just going to put that on there, like that, just to give it that sort of aerial thing sticking up the back there. And there really is your battle tank. It's up to you now to put extra things on, little panels, little bits of technology, little bits of corrugated cardboard. I've got a bit of corrugated cardboard we used earlier on to do those treads, and I'm just going to stick a little bit of that there. I'm going to go a little bit there, a little bit of tape. I'm going to stick it on the side somewhere. I'm going to cut it nice and straight. The more straight things you can now stick on. You can, if you want to use glue sticks and stick things on now, you can use glue sticks to stick little squares of cardboard, thick cardboard, and make panelling, which looks quite nice on vehicles and spaceships and things like that. I use that when I make my rockets. And there's another little bit of corrugated cardboard there, and I know you can't see this at the moment. I will turn it around just so you can see. Just put that little bit of detail on. And there is your movable space tank. So that really is it. What I'm going to do is, if you're going to do something like this now, because you've used plastic bits like this, you can paint it, yes. One of the things I suggest though with things like this is you can use spray cans. Now, the spray cans, obviously these kind of spray cans, it's best to use an acrylic spray if you've got them. Do it outside. Children, if you're watching this, do it with an adult. Adults, make sure the children do it with you. And use acrylic sprays. Something like this, I would spray all black first and then spray a colour on. Now, because it's a space tank, it can be grey, it can be silver, it can be any colour you like, it can be red. But do them black first. They look much better if they're done black first. And just a little hint as well. You take the treads off and spray all that bit black first, and then spray the whole model, and then put your treads on and spray the other colours. The treads inside will just all be blacked up and look really good. I'll do that before the end of this this YouTube section so that you can see me doing that, and then you'll get a shot of what this actually looks like when it's decorated. You can also use your computer and come up with little shapes and cut little shapes out, maybe your name, maybe the name of the tank, whatever you like, and stick those on as well with glue sticks, whatever makes it work for you. But there is a very easy, fabulous space tank. Enjoy.